Hey guys, welcome to the NetApp on NetApp video series. My name is Matt Norton with NetApp IT, and today we'll be talking about FSx ONTAP. So in a nutshell, FSx ONTAP is a new offering from AWS that represents a collaboration with NetApp to bring best-of-breed storage capabilities to the public cloud. When planning public cloud infrastructure, we're often faced with a choice between best-of-breed solutions like NetApp ONTAP and native hyperscaler solutions like Amazon EBS. But with FSx ONTAP, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the storage efficiency, the thin provisioning, dedupe, compression that you're used to with ONTAP, combined with the ease of use and integration benefits that you would expect from a native solution. With FSx ONTAP, you'll be up and running in 30 minutes with a 2-node ONTAP cluster spread across 2 availability zones of your choosing. You can manage your cluster using familiar AWS tools like the Amazon console, API or CLI, as well as traditional NetApp tools like the ONTAP CLI or NetApp Cloud Manager. Behind the scenes, FSx ONTAP is based off a customized version of NetApp CVO or Cloud Volumes ONTAP, so you still retain features like snapshots, snap mirror, and snap vault. Let's do a quick demonstration of FSx ONTAP. If we drop into the Amazon console, we'll navigate to the FSx service and select Create File System. Select NetApp ONTAP. We'll do a standard create so that we can see some of the specific configuration options. Put in test for our file system name. And then we have the 3 most important configuration parameters for FSx ONTAP. We have the SSD storage capacity, which has a minimum of 1 terabyte. This is your primary SSD storage, your fast storage for data that's heavily utilized. Then we have the PIOPS, the provisioned IOPS. There's a default of 3 IOPS per gig. You can change that to a user provision number if you would like to go higher. We'll stick with the default of 3 IOPS per gig. And then finally, you have the throughput capacity. So FSx ONTAP has recently been updated to recommend a specific throughput capacity based off your SSD storage selection, how much data you're looking to host. Or you can also choose to specify your throughput. Right now, there's 5 current options ranging from 128 megabytes per second to 2 gig. We'll stick with the recommended capacity. Note that after you have provisioned your FSx ONTAP cluster, you can come back in and update the SSD storage capacity or the provisioned IOPS. That way you're not stuck with it. At some point in the future, we should have the capability to update the throughput as well. That way you're not locked into anything. Next, we need to select network and security parameters for our FSx ONTAP instance. Currently, the way that FSx ONTAP is deployed is that you will get a 2-node cluster with an active node in subnet 1 in AZ1 and a passive node in subnet 2 AZ2. So we're selecting those parameters here in the network and security box. We select our VPC. We will associate a security group with our FSx ONTAP endpoints. And then the preferred subnet and standby subnet here of your choosing. Again, this represents subnets in 2 different AZs. The data from the primary node will automatically be replicated to the secondary node. In the event of a disaster where the primary node becomes unavailable, the data will be then hosted by the secondary node in the standby subnet. We select a VPC routing table to associate. The endpoint IP address range is more important than it may seem. If you leave the default of no preference, you'll end up with some of your endpoints in a 198.19 reserved range, which means that if you want to connect to those endpoints from any peered network, whether it's another VPC or direct connect or VPN networks, then you'll need to update your routing to reach those 198.19 addresses. It's easier to go ahead and select an IP address range and specify a range from your current VPC where presumably you already have your networking in place. Next, we will configure the encryption key to be used with encrypting our data at rest. We'll take the default here. And then we can also specify the password to use to access our cluster and configure it. The default username will be fsxadmin, so we enter our password. Similarly, we need to configure a storage virtual machine, or SVM, inside ONTAP. So we'll put in a name. The SVM access will use a username called vsadmin, and similar to the fsxadmin username associated with the cluster, we will also specify a password for vsadmin. If we need to join our SVM to Active Directory, for example, to host a CIF share, then we can specify that information here. Next, we have the default volume configuration. Enter our volume size. We'll just do 1 gig. And then the storage efficiency. I would certainly recommend enabling storage efficiency. So you're getting dedupe, compression, compaction, those types of NetApp technologies that you're familiar with. That will reduce your costs quite a bit. Then we have the capacity pool tiering selection. So other than the primary SSD pool, which was the first thing that we configured, there's also this concept of a capacity pool or storage pool, which is actually S3 storage. So your cold data that's not accessed on a frequent basis, by default 31 days, will fall to the cold tier, which will be stored in Amazon S3. This storage is much cheaper than your primary SSD storage. Similarly, when you need to access it, it will take a little bit longer, but it's much cheaper than your primary SSD storage. So we'll take the auto option. You can tweak these settings in ONTAP further if necessary to define what determines whether data is hot or cold. Next, we have the backup and maintenance. This is optional. You don't have to enable backups. We can set backups to happen on an automatic schedule, as you see here, or you can take backups on a per volume basis if you so choose, on demand. You can set your backup window, so when do the backups happen, and then you can select the retention. By default, it'll be 7 days. So these backups, behind the scenes, this is using SnapMirror technology in ONTAP to snap mirror from your FSx ONTAP nodes to an S3 backend. And then finally, we have tags associated with the FSx file system itself. Recently, we've added the capability to tag the volumes as well, which can be helpful for tagging application-specific metadata for your own chargeback processes internally and so on. Personally, within NetApp IT, I can share that prior to FSx ONTAP being available as an offering, we were using CVO, Cloud Volumes ONTAP, and that could take sometimes weeks to get up and running within Amazon due to communication back and forth between cloud team and storage team, figuring out the appropriate IPs to use and so on. That process took some time. But with FSx ONTAP, with the click of a few buttons, as you've seen, you'll be up and running in 30 minutes. We've also noticed that FSx ONTAP appears to be quite cost effective compared to other storage solutions, including CVO. Whereas with CVO, if you scale out, you're paying a lot in terms of EC2 compute costs. With FSx ONTAP, for the most part, you're only paying for the storage and resources that you use. So thus far, we found that it can be a lot cheaper than other offerings. In terms of performance, FSx ONTAP is as advertised. Because you're able to put your compute and storage nodes in the same VPC, that sets the stage for sub-millisecond latencies and the ability to maximize your configured PIOPS and throughput. We've thrown a variety of benchmarking tools at FSX ONTAP, and every single one has yielded amazing results. And finally, maybe the biggest benefit for IT teams around the world is with FSX ONTAP, you don't have to manage it. So you're not responsible for upgrading to the latest version of ONTAP. You're not responsible for making sure the nodes are up and running. You're not responsible for any of that. All you have to do is manage your storage, and the rest is up to Amazon.